African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of December 21, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct the special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces have improved their tactical position. They inflicted a defeat on the formations of the armed forces of Ukraine's Jaeger Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Rizhevka and Alexevka in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, units of motorized infantry and 3 mechanized brigades were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Krasnoye, Turnov, and Volchansky Khutori in the Kharkiv region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost up to 120 servicemen and 9 vehicles. Units of the West Group of Forces have improved their positions on the forward edge. They inflicted a defeat on the manpower and equipment of the armed forces of Ukraine's airmobile, 2 assault, 4 mechanized brigades, and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements of Podoli, Kupiansk, Uzlovoy, Lesnaya Stenka, Kovsharovka, Boldarevka, Monakivka in the Kharkiv region, and Red Liman in the Donetsk People's Republic. The losses of the Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 210 servicemen, a T-72 tank, an infantry fighting vehicle, an HMMWV armored vehicle produced in the USA, a Senator armored personnel carrier produced in Canada, 14 vehicles, and 2 field artillery guns. 3 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Group of Forces have taken more advantageous positions. They inflicted a defeat on the formations of the armed forces of Ukraine's engineer, mining, and 2 mechanized brigades in the areas of the settlements of Dimitrov, Drushkovka, Zakotne, Konstantinovka, Nikolaevka, and Minkovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 215 servicemen, an M113 armored personnel carrier, and a Stryker armored vehicle produced in the USA, 11 vehicles, 2 artillery guns, and a launcher of a Iraqi SA-12 multiple rocket launcher system produced in Croatia. A radio electronic warfare station, 3 ammunition depots, and a fuel depot were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of Forces continued the neutralization of an encircled enemy group in Dimitrov in the Donetsk People's Republic and mopping up of Rodinskoye in the Donetsk People's Republic from scattered formations of the armed forces of Ukraine. Russian troops defeated manpower and hardware of 1 Jaeger Brigade, 1 Airmobile Brigade, 1 Airborne Brigade, 2 mechanized brigades, 2 air assault brigades, 2 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, 1 Marine Brigade, 1 Territorial Defense Brigade, the Azov Special Forces Brigades, and ONR National Guard Brigade near Vorovka, Anovka, Sergeyevka, Artemovka, Toretskoye, Belitskoye, Rodinskoye, Novoalexandrovka in the Donetsk People's Republic, and Novopavlovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The enemy losses were more than 455 troops, US-made Abrams and German-made Leopard tanks, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 4 pickup trucks, 1 field artillery system, and 1 electronic reconnaissance station. Units of the East Group of Forces continued to advance into the depth of the enemy's defense. They defeated the manpower and equipment of an assault brigade, 4 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Gai, Andreevka in the Dnipropetrovsk region, Ternovatoye, Dorozhnyanka, and Huliaipol in the Zaporizhia region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost over 245 servicemen, 6 armored combat vehicles, 6 cars, and a 155 mm 198 howitzer produced in the USA. A materiel depot was destroyed. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces defeated formations of a mechanized brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Oryk and Preobrazhenka in the Zaporizhia region. Up to 40 Ukrainian servicemen, a tank, an armored combat vehicle, 5 cars, 2 field artillery pieces, including a 105 mm M119 howitzer produced in the USA, 2 electronic warfare stations, and a Rada radar station produced in Israel were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, unmanned aerial vehicles, missile forces, and artillery of the armed forces of the Russian Federation have defeated military industry enterprises of Ukraine, energy facilities, transport and storage infrastructure used in the interest of the armed forces of Ukraine, assembly points of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, and temporary dislocation points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 144 districts. Air defense systems hit 29 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the enemy has lost 669 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 104,014 unmanned aerial vehicles, 640 anti-aircraft missile systems, 26,637 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,634 MLRS combat vehicles, 32,000 ZO-62 field artillery guns and mortars, 49,684 support military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.